Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll explain you how to set AR auto accounting rules in Oracle eBusiness Suite. So let's log into any AR responsibility. So I'm under accounts receivable supervisor Reliance Telecom UST responsibility. Reliance Telecom is my operating unit. So navigate to setup transactions auto accounting. So under auto accounting, you can use the auto accounting rules to define to specify the source of the different chart of account segments. So for example, so let me just pick up my operating unit Reliance Telecom and maybe one account receivable account. So here you can see under operating unit Reliance Telecom for receivable account I have, say, in my chart of accounts, I have 6 segments. So for each of the segments, I am specifying the source. So as far as the receivable account code combination is concerned, for company segment, how system should derive the company segment value. So I have some drop downs here, whether it needs to be picked up from the sales representative, whether it needs to be picked up from the customer side or from a transaction type. So similarly for each of the segments, I have the drop down sales representative, site or transaction types. And if you do not want this to be picked up from any of these things, and if you want a constant value, you can even very well enter the constant value also. So in this case, I have specified for the receivable account, I want all the segment values to be picked up from the transaction type. So let us assume for department instead of transaction type, I just specify as a constant value, say 010. Let me say. So now when I try to create an invoice as far as the receivable account code combination is concerned, system will pick up all the segment values from the transaction type except the department, and this department will be picked up as 010. So similarly, not only for the receivables, so you have revenue account, freight account, tax account, unbilled receivable, unearned revenue, and so on. So for each of the different account types, you can specify the uh, rules. So let me query for my operating unit. So you can see for the freight, I have specified the source as transaction type for all the segments. So again, here you have the different options. So you have sales rep, customer side, transaction type, as well as standard line. Standard line is nothing but your memo line. Similarly, for receivables, we have discussed revenue. Again, I have mentioned transaction type. So for revenue also, we have the same 4 values: sales related, customer side, standard lines, and transaction type. And for taxes, again you have more or less the same value x, and you have an additional value, the additional source of taxes, so you can pick up the segment value from the tax setup. Again, in my case, I have specified the transaction type as the source for all the segments for the taxes, but in general, in real life scenario, generally for the taxes, as far as the account is concerned, generally the source will be taxes, but for all other segments, it can be taxes or it can be the transaction type. So similarly, you can specify the uh, auto accounting rules for different account types in this screen. Remember, whatever you are mentioning in this particular screen are the default account code combination values to be defaulted when an AR invoice is created. This is different from the SLA rules. So whatever you are mentioning here will be the default values which gets defaulted when you create your AR invoice, but again you can override that with a different value. But at the end of the day, what goes to GL will be based on whatever is customized in your SLA rules. If you do not customize in your SLA rules, so whatever is there in your AR invoice, the same will flow to your SLA, and the same will flow from SLA to GL. But if you customize any of your SLA rules, then whatever is being defaulted in your AR invoice based on these auto accounting rules, that gets overridden with the values derived by the system based on your SLA rules. Okay, so now you can see if as far as the receivable is concerned, we can check how it works just by taking receivable as an example. For all the segments, I'm mentioning transaction type, and for just the department, I'm using the constant. Okay. Now let me try to create an invoice, and let's see how the receivable account code combination will be generated. So as far as that invoice is concerned, I want to use a specific invoice type and the transaction type, and for that particular transaction type, I'll show you what is the total account code combination before I try to create that invoice. Okay, I just want to pick up a transaction type, the Reliance Telecom, and my transaction type is manual INV. So this is the transaction type which I'm planning to use, and here you can see this is the receivable account code combination. Okay, and this is the revenue account. This is revenue, and this is receivable. For the time, we just focus on only these two. And if you go back to your auto counting rules, so here you are mentioning the as far as the receivable is concerned, everything should be defaulted from transaction type except the department. So when I try to create my invoice, my receivable account should be 04-010-1210. That is everything from the transaction types except the department, which should be 010. And as far as the revenue is concerned, my auto accounting rule says everything should be from the transaction type. So that means when I try to create an AR invoice, my revenue account code conversion should be so and so, this one. Okay. Now let me try to create an invoice. Transactions. Source is manual under my operating unit, which is Reliance Telecom. Okay. Invoice, and my transaction type is manual INV. So maybe I pick up a customer. Okay. Try to enter just say one quantity 1500. Try to save this as well. So save the code combinations or your distribution lines gets generated based on your auto counting rules. So if you go to your distribution here you can see this is the receivable account which got generated. So system has derived the receivable account code combination based on your auto accounting rule. Similarly, your revenue account is this one. This is what you have seen in your transaction type. So this is how you can default your account code combination, whether it's receivable or revenue or tax, in your invoice based on your AR auto accounting rules. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. For interesting videos on Oracle Financials, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.